Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is a really short half-an-hour webinar that we put together, and it's quick and easy SEL ideas, so social and emotional ideas that you can use through the arts with students, because that is important now more than ever. And I'm joined by Mike Barney and Jessica Moyers, and so they are the participants for this, so you get a feel for what this looks like as you might be doing it with your students. So I'm going to run through 5 ideas that I invite you to try. And the first one is doing a mindfulness exercise with your students. And so this is really, and I have it in green, about how are you feeling today, kind of getting in touch with that. So you could do this at the beginning of a session or beginning of a class or at the end, or even to just change the energy of what's happening. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read through this with you, and please follow along. Begin by bringing your attention into your body. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. You can notice your body seated, wherever you're seated, feeling the weight of your body on the chair, on the floor. Take a few deep breaths in and out. And as you take a deep breath, bring in more oxygen, enlivening your body. And as you exhale, have a sense of relaxing more deeply. You can notice your feet on the floor. Notice the sensations of your feet touching the floor, the weight and pressure, vibration and heat. You can notice your legs against the chair, pressure, pulsing, heaviness, or lightness. Notice your back against the chair. Bring your attention into your stomach area. If your stomach feels tense or tight, let it soften. Take a breath. Notice your hands. Are your hands feeling tense or tight? See if you can allow them to soften. Notice your arms. Feel any sensation in your arms. Let your shoulders be soft. Notice your neck and throat. Let them be soft. Relax. Soften your jaw. Let your facial muscles be soft. Then notice your whole body being present. Take one more deep breath. Be aware of your whole body as best you can. Take a breath. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And you can see how quickly we change the mood and the feeling of where we are during this taping. And, you know, I put up a picture. This is a picture from a trip to Bryce Canyon. You can put up different sorts of pictures. And there's lots of these mindfulness exercises out on the internet that you can find and adapt for the age that you're teaching. So that is our first exercise. And it's really a check-in. How are you feeling? And let's review what social and emotional learning is, because there are 5 capacities, and these are so important and so accessible through the arts. And they are, the first one, self-awareness. So it's really being aware of your own emotions, thoughts, and how those things influence behavior. And when you really have that together, it creates a sense of self-confidence. I know who I am, I know what I'm good at, and a growth mindset. So I highlighted in red what I think is the most important thing about being self-aware. And if you have self-awareness, then you have some self-management. That is the next thing that comes along. And I showed these 3 students who are having some stress, as we all are having tremendous stress these days. And if you have a handle on who you are and your emotions, things that trigger you, things that make you happy and so forth, you're better able to control impulses, manage stress, and then motivate yourself. Another important capacity of social and emotional learning is social awareness. Again, now more than ever, the ability to empathize with others, respect and appreciate diverse backgrounds and cultures. These are really important for students to be successful in school and in life. And social awareness, being aware of other people and sensitive to them, allows you to have better relationship skills. And that's, again, important in school and in work. It allows you to cooperate better and just really appreciate diversity and how to create healthy and rewarding relationships. And then finally, there's responsible decision-making. This is kind of the crowning capacity. It's making constructive choices, and it's because of all that awareness and knowledge you have about yourself and about other people. So moving into the second activity that's social and emotionally aware and helps us with that is doing a sing-along. And Mike and I were discussing this prior to starting the recording. We've both been classroom teachers and we sang with our kids. And so singing along with feeling, and this is a neat little song that you can find on the internet, and I'm going to pull it up as a share. And it has a very simple refrain: one world, one voice, one heart beating. So let me pull that up so you can hear the tune. And let's see, go right into here. So here is a video of it. And bear with me because I might be slightly out of tune. Can you hear that?
Cannot.
No. Let me go back. Stop share. I have to turn on the, what is that little button that we use? Share computer sound. There we go. Okay. Take two. Okay, so they're going to say it over and over again. Run that back, and you'll hear it from the beginning. We are one world, one voice, one heart beating. We are one world, one voice, one heart beating. We are one world, one voice, one heart beating. We are one world, one voice, one heart beating. You kind of get the idea. So it's just a simple song, and it has hand motions: one world, one voice, one heart beating. And again, that gets kids moving, gets them singing. And I was thinking about if you were doing this with older students, and I found this video that I thought was really interesting. And this is One Republic made a song, and this feels really different. The other song is very hopeful. Check this out. And they took this song and they connected it.
I could tell you I was fragile. I could tell you I was weak. I can write you out a letter, tell you anything you need. I've seen minutes turn to hours, hours turn to years, and I've seen truth turn to power. If you could see me the way I see you, if you could feel me the way I feel you, you'd be.
So that feels a lot different, doesn't it? What's the emotion that that video pulls up, or if you were singing along to that? Feel free to jump in. I mean, is that a happy tune or a happy song?
It's funny, I don't, because of the way it's sung, I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, I think it could be subject to interpretation. He's definitely talking about, it starts out with global warming and things that are happening, but the faces that they're showing are really interesting. And, you know, it could engender discussion about, you know, what is happening? What are those looks? You know, when I saw the polar bear floating by, that makes me sad, and the glaciers, because I've seen them. So the same thing, using music, using singing to access emotion. So that's really what I'm trying to get at. And when I looked online, there's just a ton of things that you could play around with and get kids singing. And I know when I was in the classroom, we did patriotic songs every morning. We just got up and did songs. So I want to just encourage you, if you haven't done a sing-along or thought about that in a long time, it's fun. And of course, younger kids, you know, join in wholeheartedly. But this is the simplest song ever. One world, one voice, one heart beating. And you could even play around with making up songs or having students make up songs in simple lyrics. So That is the second activity that I would like to throw into the mix as something to think about that's socially and emotionally healing and engaging for students. So the third one, and I know a lot of educators are familiar with this or may have done this at some point, and I love it because it's new and different every time. And I've probably written 10 of these, always different. So we're going to go ahead and write one together. It's the I am poem, and it's really learning more about you. And the key is the 2 adjectives that you're going to use to describe yourselves, because they set up the whole poem. So I'm going to, when we're taping this, we're close to Halloween, which is also my birthday. And so I'm going to make my I am poem relate to that. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and I want you to fill in the blanks. I am, I wonder, I touch, I worry about, and I want. And then you're going to go back to the I am. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 minutes on the timer. And please go ahead and do that. And I'm going to write right along with you.
Are we using only adjectives?
No, the first line is 2 adjectives.
Okay.
And then you could say, I wonder about, why the sky is blue.
Okay.
So adjectives are about the first line. Okay, so that's our first 2 minutes. And just to give you an idea of where I'm going, so I'll share this first stanza. I am spooky and weird. I wonder what I'll dress up as this year. I touch the candy in the bowl. I worry about having enough to go around. I want all of the chocolate. I am spooky and weird. So if you didn't know it was my birthday or that I love Halloween, you would learn a little something more about me. Okay, so let's go into stanza 2. I pretend, I feel, I hear, I see, I cry, and then I am. Back to the first 2 adjectives. So this is more heartfelt even. You have the feel and the cry. So let's give 2 minutes and go ahead. Okay, that was our 2 minutes for the second stanza. Can I have either Mike or Jessica share their second stanza, please? Give us an idea of what you're doing.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I pretend I am in nature. I feel happy. I hear leaves. I see birds. I cry for beauty. I am thoughtful and quiet.
That's interesting. So if I didn't know you at all, that tells me that you're a person who likes to be outside, maybe hiking or exercising, and are sensitive to the beauty of nature. So that's a very telling stanza. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so we're moving on to the third one, and this brings it home. Third stanza, I understand, I dream, I say, I hope, and then I am, closing with the first line. So 2 more minutes and we'll wrap up this poem. Okay. That is our final 2 minutes. And if you don't mind, Jessica, I'm sure you knew this was coming, sharing your third stanza, just again, to give the variety. I had spooky and weird, and Mike's was about nature and his enjoyment of being outside. So let's hear what you have to say, please.
Sure. It says, I understand I am not perfect. I dream of a peaceful future. I say I am strong. I hope I can overcome any challenge. I am adventurous and determined.
Interesting. And see, that was very different than the first 2 stanzas that you heard, and really spoke to her personal integrity and her goals and what she's striving for. So that's beautiful. And I encourage you to use poetry with students as a form of social and emotional learning in the arts, because poetry tends to be emotional and it's very accessible, particularly for second language learners. It's really an on-ramp for the literary arts. So well done. And we did our poetry read aloud as we were going along. The fourth item I wanted to share with you as an activity is a self-portrait collage. And this can take many forms. And this is more learning about each other, the student learning about themselves. So the example that you see there, that's kind of a loosely drawn figure, like a whole body. And you can see there's collage happening of words and pictures that describe the students. And here's another version, the one I've most commonly done, where you have a silhouette of a head, of a face. And so it could be a boy silhouette, a girl silhouette. And you can get those online. So you create a silhouette and then you fill in the outline with photos, with pictures, with text, and each piece can be cut and torn and then glued in place. And all of it should be about the subject's likes and dislikes. And I actually have a video up on our Easy Arts for Everyone website of this very lesson. And the interesting thing is that I had this amazing teacher in 5th grade at Cahuilla School, Miss Lockhart, who I still remember very clearly, and she did this lesson back in the 70s. And so talk about tried and true. And I remember as a 10-year-old thinking, wow, this is really neat. And I really enjoyed, my picture actually looked a lot like that, where I just had such a ball, like figuring out things that really described myself. And so again, just getting in touch with who you are as a person. So I highly recommend this activity as a great arts and SEL thing to do with your students. And then finally, we did singing, we incorporated that. And I think dancing is particularly important. Certainly young students love to dance and they don't have the kind of inhibition that we develop over time. And the way you can combine this with social and emotional is talking about emojis. So emojis aren't something I grew up with, but now we're all so familiar. And there's just a screenshot of a bunch of different emojis that describe emotion. Of course, we use them when we're texting to fill in the gaps so that something that's meant to be funny doesn't come across as sarcastic and so on. So recognizing emotion is really important. So one of the things we can do, and I'm going to cue up my music here, is put on music and have students decide which emoji would represent that particular song. So I'm going to go ahead and play you a song. And then I also encourage chair dancing if you're able, and that's not a hard thing to get students to do. So let's try this one and tell me what you think about this. What emoji would go with this song?
Love will keep us together. They can make me baby whatever.
I like the look on your face, Mike.
Bringing back memories.
I know, I'm dating myself, aren't I? Okay, so that little song, what emoji would you put to it?
A happy emoji?
Happy emoji, what else? What other one could be possible? Even just looking at that screen right in front of you. The name of the song is Love Will Keep Us Together.
The one with the hearts?
It's the one with the heart eyes or, whatever. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so here's something wildly different. Ready?
I put a spell on you because you're mine. You better stop the fire that you do. Watch out, I love you.
I don't think that one would be the happy emoji. What do you think? Even if you don't know the song.
Is it a sad? I mean, is it a sad?
He's definitely not sounding happy.
No.
No. It could be sad. It could also be what? What do you think, Jessica?
I'm trying to remember the lyrics to the song.
I put a spell on you because you're mine.
It's almost a selfish look, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have an emoji for possessive, maybe. But it's interesting, no matter what song. Now, those are older songs that you could put on, but students really, they get it. And you could, go to something like this.
Might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon.
So now that one's pretty straightforward. It's in the title, right? Because I'm happy, you know. But I've done, you know, different webinars where we were really dancing along to this big time. So you can incorporate, you know, recognizing the emotions and feelings, using your feelings and displaying them as you're dancing and so on. So again, especially with distance learning, or even when you need a brain break in the classroom, you know, back when I was in the classroom, I used to, if I noticed everyone was really sluggish at a point, I would put on YMCA and we'd get up and we'd do the hands, you know, and bop around, because your brain needs that, needs to reset. So this particular approach is really tying in emotions and feelings, which is what social emotional is. So that's why I've recommended this one. So I said here, this is my directions for chair dancing, have the chart. Students know which one goes with a certain emoji, which emotion and emoji. Create a playlist, put on the songs. Students can chair dance. Movements should match the mood and feel of the song. And then show them what emoji. You could even print out emoji cards. I've done it that way too. So just as a wrap up, I just want to remind you some of the basic principles that are involved in the arts and social emotional learning. Maslow talked about love and belonging and esteem being at the top of the pyramid. And so we really want to access students feeling safe and comfortable and loved. And so we can bring that into our classroom experience through the arts. In terms of Bloom's taxonomy, higher level thinking skills are involved in creating. So if you're creating a poem, if you're singing, you're creating a dance, that is at the highest level, according to Bloom. So we don't want to dismiss making art just because it's fun as not being important. In terms of Gardner's multiple intelligences, the arts represent nearly every one of them. You could argue logical, mathematical, I'm sure, but every other one on this wheel is definitely represented. It's important, and I think Mike and Jessica did a great job of helping me out with this, to be non-judgmental about yourself and about your students, so you create a safe place that you can goof and have some fun and be vulnerable and give positive feedback, which encourages students to participate with you. I want you to know that New Jersey and California is closely following this, has linked the social and emotional learning competencies with the artistic processes, the 4 processes of create, perform, present, produce. That's 1, respond, and connect. And you can look those up on the CASEL, C-A-S-E-L website, but we are soon to be adopting this in California. This is a great resource for study. I just finished it a few months ago by Dr. Mark Brackett, Permission to Feel, why that's so powerful to include emotions in the learning process with children. And finally, I invite you to call upon me for support if you need more ideas. If you want to be directed to additional resources, I'm here to help. So thank you for joining us for this quick little tour of 5 social and emotional activities to support learning. Thank you.